Ask it, Danielle.
Good evening and welcome. I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Nevada City Council to order. Today's Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, and it's 6:30 p.m. Please join us in welcoming our newest council member, Michaela Sortland.
Hey.
She officially took her oath of office earlier this month and will participate in a ceremonial swearing in later this evening. We'll begin with the Nisenan tribal recognition. I've asked Councilmember Peterson to read the land recognition.
Thank you. We acknowledge that the Nisenan people are still here among us today, though nearly invisible. We understand that we are on Nisenan land that was never ceded, and the original tribal families have yet to recover from the near genocide of their people. As a resident or visitor in Nisenan land, we support the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe in efforts to stabilize their people as well as their campaign to restore federal recognition.
Thank you, Gary. I would like to ask Lou to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance out of habit, but he's not here, so I'll do it. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's now time for the adoption of the agenda. It's my understanding we are administratively pulling item number 11 on short-term rentals. Does the city attorney or city manager have any additional information to provide?
Mayor, we need roll call.
Oh, you're right. You know, one of these days we're going to figure this job out. Roll call, please.
Time's up.
Councilmember Sortland?
Here.
Councilmember Peterson?
Here.
Councilmember Fleming?
Here.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Here.
Mayor Klein?
Here. On to it. It's my understanding we're polling 11.
We are pulling 11, Mr. Mayor. Staff would like a little more opportunity to review the staff report and the attached documents. So with your permission, we'd like to pull that item and we'll bring it back to you at the next scheduled council meeting.
Thank you, Dean. Do we have any additional changes, consent items pulled, recusals to announce?
Yes, I would, let me get the number, pull the consent item, number 7, on sponsorship of the Miners Foundry.
Great.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion and a second to adopt the agenda with the consent item Gary mentioned pulled for now and without item 11.
So moved.
I second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Fernandez and a second from Councilmember Fleming. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. All right, we're going to begin with reorganizing this city council.
Yes, so we want to get started with the Nevada County Elections official has completed their official canvass and certified the results of the June 2nd, 2026 general municipal election. The total number of votes cast in the city of Nevada City election was 2,403, which seems pretty high based on population. Based on the certified results, Michaela Sortland and Adam Klein received the highest number of votes and were elected to serve 4-year terms on Nevada City Council. So staff would recommend that you adopt the resolution accepting the results of the June 2nd, 2026 special municipal election as certified by the Nevada County Elections official.
Thanks, Gary. Anyone have any remarks you'd like to make on this subject before we take public comment?
Let's do it.
Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to adopt?
I move that we adopt.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion from Doug and a second from Daniela to adopt Resolution 2026-21, accepting the results of the June 2nd, 2026 special municipal election as certified by the Nevada County Elections official.
Roll call.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Sortland?
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yep.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes. There you go. Item number 2, nominate and appoint mayor and vice mayor.
And this is your last item as mayor unless elected.
What?
I know. So section 2 of the city council standards and procedures outlines the process for selecting the mayor and vice mayor. The city's longstanding practice is to rotate these positions among eligible council members based on seniority and prior service. However, each currently eligible council member has previously served as mayor. As a result, according to your policies and procedures, the automatic rotation process does not apply, and the mayor and vice mayor for the 2026-2027 term must be selected by majority vote of the city council in accordance with your standards and procedures. Following nominations from council, the mayor shall be selected by majority vote. After that, after the mayor has been selected, the council shall nominate and elect a vice mayor by majority vote as separate actions. And I turn it over to council.
I move that we nominate Daniela Fernandez for mayor.
I'll second that. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Sortland?
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Sure.
Mayor? Mayor Klein?
She seems enthusiastic. Let's do it.
Vice mayor.
Excellent.
I'd like to make a motion to, to appoint Gary Peterson, vice mayor.
I
second
second that. Enthusiastic crew. He can have it.
It's all good.
Motion from me and a second from Doug.
Roll call.
Yes, please.
Councilmember Sortland?
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez?
Yes.
Mayor Klein?
Yes. Look at that, we got a new organized council. Sorry, everyone, for that absolute chaos. The power struggle was brutal. I'm going to call for a 5-minute break, and we're going to reorganize what this looks like, and we'll be right back.
Hey, all right.
Musical chairs.
I go over here.
I think I go over there.
Mayor. will shut
Let's
this
get to
shit
work.
down.
Trying to get to work.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Look who's back.
Look who's back. We've got some presentations. First of all, before we go on much further, we have a presentation of the gavel to the outgoing Mayor Klein. I'd like to pass it over to our city manager, Carrie.
Yes, so in review of some of the traditions here in Nevada City, it was unclear what we do for outgoing mayors. And so I wanted to make sure the very first mayor that I worked with get something as their outgoing prize. So we have created for you your own personal gavel, not to be used at a city council meeting, of course. Just want to clarify.
In any way.
Yeah, and in the event that you become mayor again, we will change the nameplate and we'll just add years.
Thank you, Carrie.
And then there's something here as well.
Very nice.
Yay.
Thanks,
Let's hear
everybody.
it for Adam.
I have endeavored to be the most outgoing mayor I could be. Thank you to this wonderful community that raised me.
I'd love, unlike you did,
Okay.
unlike you, who didn't open the table for Paul Mattson, I would like to open the table for you, to anybody that would like to speak on Mayor Klein.
Oh,
and
I'd love
just-
to say that it's been great to work with you, Adam. You added, so much hometown spirit, I would say, and a connection to the city's roots that, none of us have, well, Michaela, but none of us really have. And that really added a lot of gravitas to the council. Your levity is second to none, and that really helps when we're dealing with difficult stuff. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your service. You've been mayor all your life, I think, or most of your life. So this is just a final honor in the culmination of many years of service.
Thanks, Doug.
You're welcome.
That's nice of you to say.
It's true.
I was going to say you were as good a mayor as you were a tenant. So don't know this, but I was his landlord for a couple of years, and he always paid his rent on time. So he was just as stable as the mayor, and it's something I really appreciated. And I also I've seen a lot of stuff. As you know, I'm highly overexperienced for this work, but I never saw Council Fest with live music in the chambers, rocking out with your co-conspirator next door to you there. And I believe we have a drummer back there. So I didn't know if you were planning on kicking it off again tonight or not.
No, sir. Thank you, Gary.
But thank you. Yes.
That is a relief. How many of you were here for Council Fest? Fantastic. Wasn't it kind of like a fever dream? It was like, I had this dream. We were in council chambers and there was music playing and the lighting was weird. It was strange and fun and bizarre, like Nevada City. Adam, I think that I'm so glad that you were able to fulfill your lifelong dream of becoming the guitar playing mayor. I think one of the stories I've heard you tell the most is when Paul Mattson came to your, I believe, 6th grade class. And he played guitar and he was the mayor. And you said, oh, wow, you could be the mayor and play guitar. I want to be a guitar playing mayor. And you did that. You became the guitar playing mayor. So congratulations on that. Thank you for your service. And let's do a couple more years together.
Okay. Just for the record, I just assumed all mayors had to play guitar to 6th grade students. That was my assumption. Did you enjoy serving with me for 5 minutes at the beginning of this meeting?
I really enjoyed my 5 minutes with you up here, but I have known you for over 30 years. You're a wonderful person, a wonderful friend, a inspiring community leader. We all thank you for your dedication to your community. On the campaign trail this time around, I was able to see a new side of you, one of integrity and honor. And I really appreciate everything you did along the campaign trail for me as someone just getting involved in public service. And your humor brings a sense of lightness and accessibility to serious issues that I think helps in bridging gaps. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Michaela. Thanks to you all. Really appreciate it.
Everybody, Adam Klein. Excellent. We're going to move right along to the oath of office for Michaela. Again, she officially did her oath of office so she could vote in the first couple of agenda items, but we are going to do a public and ceremonial one now, and I'm going to pass that over to Dean Pucci, Esquire.
Sure.
All right, would you raise your right hand for me? I, Michaela Sortland,
I, Michaela Sortland,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will defend and support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith to the Constitution of the United States and allegiance.
and we have to start over.
Okay.
And the Constitution of the State of California,
And the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
That I take this obligation, this opportunity, excuse me, can you say that again?
that I take this obligation freely
That I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dean.
Welcome, Councilmember Sortland. We are even closer to gender parity, which is something I've been preaching for far too long at this table. I'd like to offer you a moment to speak if you have anything to say.
I do. Thank you, Mayor Fernandez. Thank you, neighbors. Thank you to my fellow council members. I'm deeply honored to take this oath tonight and serve our wonderful community. I look forward to learning even more about the unique spirit of Nevada City and doing everything I can to encourage that spirit. I'm here to listen to your needs and to uphold our shared values. I am immensely grateful to everyone who participated in our democratic process by voting. You have deepened my love for this town and inspired me to work towards reaching our full potential as a community that lives in harmony with each other and with our environment. I also want to personally thank the wonderful Nevada City staff for spending the day with me yesterday. You made me feel very welcome by sharing your priorities, goals, and challenges. You encouraged me to ask questions right away. Moving forward, I'm excited to collaborate with our neighbors of Grass Valley and in Truckee, with the Nevada County as a whole, and to deepen our regional relationships and make positive things happen for our shared community. As your council member, I promise to look out for all community members and to ensure that no one is left behind. I look forward to moving our environmental and sustainability goals forward. Nevada City, we are unique in every way. We have an incredible opportunity to be a model for how we can work together to accomplish our visions. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much, Michaela. Before we move on to the business, I just want to say that although the outcome of this part of the meeting could have maybe been predictable, it wasn't assured. And so I'd like to speak more at our next meeting on my theme as mayor and what I expect the year to look like. But in the meantime, let's get to public comment. Government Code Section 54954.3 provides that any member of the public may address the City Council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought forth under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on a future agenda. Please note that comments from the public will also be taken on the consent calendar and each agenda item at the time it is heard. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. So before we take action on the consent calendar, we will hear any public comment on the consent calendar items. Do we have any public comment on consent calendar items?
I think we're on
Just public comment.
just regular public comment, Madam Mayor.
I see that. I am reading my little script here. So is there any public comment on non-agendized items? Come on up, sir.
Howdy. Since the short-term rental item was pulled, I would just like to say I'm in support of the cap. I think it's very important that there was a distinction made between people using it to pay their mortgage in the house they're living in to subsidize their income, and people using it as a business. I think a cap is really needed in this town. I think we could go farther. I think we could do like a vacancy tax on people who own homes here and don't live here. This is not a bank, it's a community. You can't keep your wealth in a home. It's where people need to be living, and there's an extreme housing shortage, so maybe we shouldn't let people do that. Or at least maybe get some tax revenue out of them for doing that. I also mainly came here tonight because I've been hearing so many public comments on the Willow Valley project from people in that neighborhood. I just want to say that it's a level of selfishness that I think is self-destructive. People are not a problem in your neighborhood. You should want people in your neighborhood. You should want people who have less money than you in your neighborhood. They do all the work that you rely on. They do fire prevention work. You know, how like your house construction is really expensive when you want to do a remodel. It's because there's no labor here. You can't get your prescription filled. It's because there's no one working at the doctor's office because they don't have a place to live. So please stop trying to get the people who provide you services to not have a place to live. It's really frustrating I grew up here, I used to be able to afford to live here, and I can't anymore, and it's driving me insane. So some affordable housing, some affordable high-density housing in this town would be greatly appreciated. The argument that it's scary because of fire is a thin one. It's a pretty safe neighborhood as far as fire goes, if you look at the maps, and you're saying those people should live in less safe places because most of the county is less safe, fire-wise. I've lived in some very scary forested areas. It's nice that other people could maybe think of those people as people who could help you during a fire, you know, community. So, you know, maybe welcome the idea of the people with less money than you moving into your neighborhood and becoming a community that could help each other. Thank you. I think that's it.
Thanks,
Thank you. Any other public comment not on the agenda?
Hello, Jim Morris, Willow Valley Road, just beyond the HEW building. Been there for 34 years. Anyway, I appreciate some of the comments just made, and I really see the potential for workforce housing to disappear. And there's some neighborhoods pretty close to us where there's very few houses, a lot of vacation homes, second homes. But anyway, I really want to emphasize the importance of housing for the community and for people to actually work and want to be able to live here and not become like Vail, Colorado, where they have to ship them in. Anyway, thank you very much. And thank you and congratulations, Michaela. And thank you for your dedication of city council members and staff.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Richard Thomas, 214 Gethsemane Street. A couple of items. I don't get here too often, so I thought I'd sort of lump a few things together. First of all, in general, I'm feeling very optimistic about this council and the possibilities that lie ahead for Nevada City. It's exciting to see so much going on in town in terms of actual investment in our buildings. Very exciting. And new businesses, very exciting. We need more and better bicycle parking in town. The 2 bike parking stations that I know of are a little bit out of sight around the corner. We need upfront. Bicycles are very easily stolen or damaged. Stolen bicycles is a huge issue around the world. One of the main things, rather than a strong cable and a lock that presents bicycle theft, is visibility. So I think there should be the bicycle parking right here on Broad Street, perhaps one right up here, and perhaps another one in the next block. And over time, we're going to see more and more bikes. Housing always, looking at all opportunities for additional housing. Put up young people. I think at one point we were all young and needed housing. And it hasn't, I don't know that it's ever been easy, unless mom and dad have a garage that they're willing to let you have. It's not easy at any time in our lives to find the right housing. There were exceptions, but, and finally, Firehouse number 2. If you folks don't know how much I'm involved with and care about Firehouse number 2 and the history of Nevada City that goes with it, and a welcoming presence for our visitors in town, I think we have a grand opportunity to do that. We have done it in the past. We need to expedite the process to get Firehouse number 2 up, safe, and once more the city gem that it could be. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, Rich.
And thank you. And congratulations. And thank you all.
Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Any final public comment on items not on the agenda? Come on up.
Hi, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Walt Stickle. I live at 656 Nevada Street, which is right at the intersection of Nevada, Uren Street, and Hoffman. And I just wanted to comment about the Willow Valley project, and that one thing that seems to be dismissed or ignored is the increase in traffic through that intersection that will occur with whatever is built on Willow Valley. It's already a jammed up area and people are running through their stop signs right now like there's no tomorrow. Plus, there are no sidewalks through that area. So I just hope going forward, when the plans are finalized or discussed again, there's serious consideration to traffic impact and pedestrian impact. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Walt. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. So before we take action on consent calendar, we will hear any public comment on consent calendar items. Do we have any public comment on consent calendar items? Minus item 7. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar minus item 7.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Fleming. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Sortland,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yep.
Councilmember Klein,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Peterson,
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez.
Yes.
That answered.
Excellent. All right, so consent calendar approved. We are going to go to item number 7, which is approve a list of events for city sponsorship at the Miners Foundry. Gary, do you want to tell us why you pulled that item, please?
Yeah, happy to. No, I completely support the request. Lou Cece and I were very involved with bringing the foundry in, and I keep tracking it pretty much. And somewhere along in the process, a former employee here did what he called an RFI, which was a request for information, which was sort of a unusual form of a request for proposals. Anyway, it generated a lot of interest, particularly around the cafe portion of the foundry. And we've had some continued interest in that, and I'm just trying to move that along. That's my interest. I know we have a lot of stuff going on. I know staff is very busy. We're loaded with a ton of stuff, but I would just really like to make sure that that keeps moving. I think there's a real opportunity there to support revenues with the, for the foundry and also to provide some more life down on Spring Street there. So, I don't know.
So what am I doing?
Are you going to do an RFP for me, or can
Okay.
we?
So,
I can ask. You can tell me whether you'll do it or not.
well, I think so just background for the public on what has been happening with the Miners Foundry in the last couple of months since I've arrived. I understand it to be a council priority. There was someone hired to do a review of Miners Foundry as well as Parks and Rec. We basically went through the adoption of the building across the street with staffing, but we then didn't actually do the integration portion of bringing it fully into city services and looking at what makes sense. So we have Mike Shalito, who has been working diligently with staff from both Miners Foundry and our Parks and Rec department to really kind of untangle and then reconsolidate what it would look like as a unified department. We have 2 different rental systems. We have 2 different rental procedures, contracts, things like that. So we've been really in the minutia of that process. That report, I do have a second draft on my desk now, which I will share with council. The other high priorities are air conditioning. Super excited to find a grant that I think we can apply for that would bring us into the realm of services for our vulnerable populations during high heat episodes that could be combined with Miners Foundry and getting us air conditioning. So we're looking at that, as well as the liquor license and how to transfer that. So beyond kind of the administrative, getting our house in order behind the scenes, liquor license and air conditioning are the highest priority. In the study or report, it doesn't look like the consultant would be recommending doing a cafe, but if council knows that that's something that they want to do and you want to, ask staff to issue an RFP for the cafe portion, we can move on that as we get the results and have them take a closer look at that for the study, or just say, that's great, glad we've combined departments, but we also want to do the cafe portion. So I'm open to your direction.
So what I hear is that Vice Mayor Peterson has requested the possibility of an RFP for the cafe, but I'm hearing that there's a report. And although you mentioned that there's no recommendation for a cafe, I personally would like to see a cafe there. However, I feel like we need the report to understand more why that recommendation was made. So does it feel good to wait for that? And do we have a sort of timeline on when we might receive that?
Given that we have the second draft, I would say we would have it by the end of August, the final.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just trying to move it along. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, mostly not.
It's council's wishes.
But yeah, that's great. I just want to make sure it's moving. Like I said, I'm always going to be deeply invested in that facility, and there's some good people who are interested, and I think there's some opportunity here for all of us. So as long as I know it's moving and we can see the report, I'm good. And I'm also good with all the recommendations that you made about the fees and everything else. So.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Vice Mayor Peterson, for bringing that up. We do have good people that have consistently reached out. So thank you for your patience on that. We look forward to getting more clarity. I'm looking for a motion to approve the list of events for city sponsorship and authorize funds to reimburse the Miners Foundry Enterprise Fund for actual costs.
So moved.
Madam Mayor, just because we pulled this item, we need to take public comment on it.
Great. Yes. Hello, public. Welcome. Any public comment on this item?
Good evening, Council. I'm Lynn Scrookrud with the Nevada City Chamber of Commerce. We are looking forward to continuing to work with the city on this project with Mike, the consultant, and we hope that we'll be able to share some insight on behalf of the business community in regards to the cafe moving forward. Thanks for all your diligent work on it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lynn. Look forward to that as well. Hi, Scott.
Hi, you guys. My name's Scott Wayland, and if you remember, I've identified myself as an HVAC professional engineer, and I heard air conditioning just now, and I have just a couple of observations. First of all, I recommend not going design build. I think it would be best for us to decide what we want before we put it out to bid. So like a consultant and coming up with concepts would be better. And the other thought I have is in that space, you know, there's in HVAC, there's heating, there's ventilating, and there's air conditioning, and they don't always have to come together. What I would say is at the bare bones minimum, the space needs ventilation. We do need temperature control, but occupancy comfort for carbon dioxide buildup, if like you congregate, it gets stuffy in there. So ventilation would be the paramount thing first. And I mean, AC is great, but you know, that we might not be able to afford that at the beginning. But at the bare bones minimum, a dedicated outside air system is what I would recommend. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Any other public comment? Great. Can I get that motion I asked for?
You want to move it again?
Oh, yeah, so moved.
Second.
Great. I got a motion by Councilmember Fleming and a second by Vice Mayor Peterson. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember, Sortland?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes.
God, you changed the order.
Wow.
Now I have to pay attention.
I know. I'm like,
Excellent. Titles and all. All right, moving right along to business. Item number 8, configuration of the appointment of, confirmation of the appointment of Lindsay French to the Nevada City Planning Commission. All right. Carrie, would you like to?
Would
frame this
council
for
member
us?
who, so each council member has the opportunity to appoint a planning commissioner. So Michaela Sortland has selected one who we could have speak about her selection, then you would vote, and then we would do the oath of office.
Excellent.
like
Councilmember Sortland, would you like to speak about your choice?
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to appoint Lindsay French to the Nevada City Planning Commission. Lindsay grew up here in Nevada County. She holds a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. She brings 15 years of valuable experience as a project manager to the table. Today, she serves our community as a licensed marriage and family therapist for a local nonprofit group that serves our community. That unique combination of skills, including organization, deep dedication to her community, make her an incredible fit for the Planning Commission. When she isn't working, Lindsay loves backpacking, snowboarding, and line dancing. She's kind, she's passionate, she has a phenomenal work ethic, and she's genuinely excited to serve our town. I know she will be a tremendous asset to the Planning Commission, and I look forward to the great work she will do for Nevada City.
Excellent. Lindsay, would you like to come up and say anything? There's no pressure at all. Planning Commission tends to say a lot, but no pressure to get there before you have to. Excellent. That's all right. Any public comment on this new appointment to the Planning Commission?
you ready for your oath?
All right. Well, we need to take a vote first.
Vote first.
We have to vote so that we know whether to take the oath or not. All right, let's vote.
Move it.
Roll call, please. Oh,
Motion.
let's get a motion. Out of practice. It's been 3 years.
I move we confirm Councilmember Michaela Sortland's appointment of Lindsay French to the Nevada City Planning Commission and administer the oath of office.
I'll second that.
Excellent. We have a motion by Councilmember Klein and a second by Councilmember Fleming. Amber, can we please get a roll call?
Councilmember Sortland?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yep.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes. Excellent.
Permission to swear?
Permission granted.
I was like, wait, I'm usually asking permission to swear. Yes, permission to swear.
When did you start asking permission?
Correct. Damn it.
We're not going to line dance, so.
Although Dean did.
All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lindsay French, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
And the Constitution of the State of California.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
that I will well and faithfully, sorry, what was the rest of it?
Discharge the duties upon which I'm
Discharge
about
the
to enter.
duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
We're in business.
All right. Look at that. Congratulations. Excellent. We're moving right along to item number 9. Consideration acceptance of donation for Parks and Recreation programs and proclamation for Parks and Recreations Month. So I've got a proclamation here that I would like to administer to our Parks and Recs head, Dawn Zidonas. So this is the designation of July as Park and Recreation Month. Whereas parks and recreation are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Nevada City, and whereas parks and recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and whereas parks and recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being. And whereas parks and recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyle. And whereas park and recreation programming and education activities provided by both the city and other organizations are critical to childhood development. And whereas parks and recreation are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas Nevada City recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Nevada City Council that July is recognized as Park and Recreation Month in Nevada City. Woohoo! Dawn, come on up. I'd love to present this to you, but I'm going to sign it later. Oh, okay. And I'd love to sign it. I will. Yeah.
So as always, Council, thank you for your continued support of Parks and Recreation. It has been a priority in the strategic plan for this council, and that has been greatly appreciated. So as part of Parks and Recreation Month, we wanted to recognize a couple of organizations who are doing their part. We have members of the Nevada City Rotary Club and the Gold Country Kiwanis Club, and they have, both of these organizations have made donations. So the Rotary Club will be donating $600 to the Parks and Recreation Department, but really it's going to the children of our community so that they can have passes to the swimming pool or go to summer camps. And the Kiwanis Club made a donation for swim lessons, and so we are dispersing those funds and getting kids into the programs who may not have otherwise been able to do that. The Kiwanis Club was done, that donation was done for the Chuck Covert swim scholarship. So I would like them to come up and say a few things.
Good evening, Council. My name is Andrea Mason. I'm the president of the Nevada City Rotary Club, and we are incredibly proud to continue in our ongoing partnership and support of the City of Nevada City and the Nevada City Police Department. So it is our pleasure to give this money to the city for Parks and Rec to help support underfunded youth in our community so that they can take part in meaningful summer programs. So Dawn, I'm very happy to present you with this check.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
you. I'm Greg Nichols. I'm a board member of the Gold Country Kiwanis Club. Hi, folks. And we were very fortunate to use Pioneer Park for a lot of our events. World Tai Chi Day, Children's Renaissance Festival. We have coming up the 25th of July, Community Fitness Day. So we use the park a great deal for community events and fundraisers. And we're very fortunate to make a donation for group swim lessons through Dawn in the Parks and Recreation Department this year on behalf of a member who'd passed away. In an honorarium for Chuck Couvert, who was a longtime Kiwanian. And I also wanted to thank the council for the approval for a honorarium bench that is being processed and a plaque that'll be put in the park near where we do our Tai Chi and Qigong 3 days a week. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Greg. Thank you so much to Nevada City Rotary and Gold Country Kiwanis. Like the Nevada City benefits from your generous donation. We appreciate your partnership so much. Thanks so much. Happy Parks and Recreations Month. We are going to take any public comment on this issue, and then we'll bring it back to council. Any public comment? Excellent. Back to the table.
I just want to thank you all for it's more than contributing to the community. It's contributing across generations, supporting young people learning to swim. It's one of the most important things we can do in a community, making people water safe, but also reaching across those generations, building a whole community through connection. So thank you very much for your efforts in weaving the web of what we call community. And I live right next to the park, so I do my Qigong on the porch every day, with about 150 feet away. So, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Moving on to item number 10. Accept and file the annual comprehensive financial report, also known as the ACRF, federal single audit and management report for year end June 30th, 2024. I am going to go to our city manager first and then to finance manager.
Yes, so I'm going to turn it directly over to our finance manager, Brittany. This is one of the items that we've been working to bring to council for a while, so we're happy to have that, and we have guests to explain and go over a PowerPoint, and she'll introduce them, and then it should be pretty easy.
Excellent.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. As she said, we're here to present the 23-24 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the federal single audit for our Highway Bridge project, and for some FEMA disaster money that we had spent in that fiscal year. And we took an RFP out and we started working with Lance, Saul, and Lunger. They're out of Orange County. So we'll be working with them. We just finished, well, we completed the 22-23 audit with them. We're now completing the 23-24, and then we'll be working diligently to get the 24-25 out as fast as we can. And so we have worked closely here with Heather and Christian, and I'm going to turn it over to them to present to you what the audit went, how the audit went.
Good evening, everybody. So my name is Christian Towns. I'm the partner on the engagement this year, and then I'm here with my colleague, Heather Flores. She was the manager on the engagement this year, alongside Calvin Kunkel, who actually is now performing external consulting work. So you won't see him here. He's no longer with LSL, but he did work closely with Heather and I throughout this process. And he was a great member of the team during that time. So Heather and I will be continuing on with the 25 audit too, as we work forward with that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Also, thank you, Amber, for getting everything set up. So we should be good to go here. I'll just make sure everybody can see my screen.
Yes, we can see you, Christian. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead right into our next slide that just shows lovely pictures of Heather and I. As you can see, we match those through our video call, so that's always a good start, right? We definitely have worked very hard with this engagement. As you can see, it's for the 24 fiscal year, so we do want to acknowledge a lot of hard work went into this with Brittany during that time over this last year or so as we worked towards the completion. So a lot of things goes that direction. And then we'll go ahead and start to jump in. So before we get into the results, we wanted to spend a moment on some of the roles within the audit so that you can see where there is some shared responsibility, and then there's a clear line between what city management is responsible for and what we as the independent auditors are responsible for. Because understanding that division helps put our findings in context. So first we'll go into management's responsibilities. So city management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements, ensuring that they are in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. What that looks like, since we are engaged to work on the financial statements with the city, as we help prepare them in the background, and then we provide all of the underlying data to the city for review and approval, so that's essentially as they can be reperformed. Management is also responsible for designing and maintaining the internal controls that safeguard public funds for evaluating.
Christian, I'm so sorry. Can I just interrupt you for a moment? We're having a sound issue, and I'm wondering if on your, it's not us. So is there an ask of Christian? Maybe a little close to the microphone, or we're getting a lot of muffle and having. Okay, if you wouldn't mind keep talking for a moment so that we can assess on our end.
Absolutely. Any luck? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it actually is clearer. I'm wondering if we can get a little more volume on our end as there's more clarity, just to see if that might work.
Okay, I'm gonna just hold, so I have like one of the little speaker things that hook up to all of our fancy equipment. So I'll just hold that near me. So if at any point in time it becomes too much, just let me know.
Excellent. I've got a message that says it's fine online for people watching at home.
Okay, perfect. So I guess I can back up too on what I just covered on the financial statements. So it's management's responsibility for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements, but having been engaged to help with preparing those, what we do on our side is we provide the information to the city that was used in compiling those financial statements. That way there's that review and approval process that maintains our independence, and they can essentially be reperformed. Management is also responsible for designing and maintaining internal controls that safeguard public funds, for evaluating whether there is any doubt about the city's ability to continue operating, and for complying with the rules attached to federal and other grant programs. So in short, the numbers and the controls behind them, those belong with the city. Any questions? And everything's coming through good so far, volume-wise?
Coming through okay.
Okay. So we'll go into auditors' responsibilities. So our job as your auditors is to provide that independent opinion on those financial statements, which management is responsible. So we conduct the audit under both generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards, which is the higher bar that applies to public entities. We exercise our professional judgment, professional skepticism. We take that risk-based approach that we focus our testing on, where the risk of error is greatest. So what that would mean from a testing perspective is if there's an area in the audit that is higher risk, we'll use grants. It's the easiest area to point out. Tends to be higher risk, then that means we focus more in-depth testing maybe in that area than another area that presents as very low risk would have different testing procedures applied. With that, we work to understand the city's internal controls as well. And then we evaluate any significant estimates in the statements for reasonableness and assess whether there's any doubt about the city's continued financial viability. So we'll go into the scope of work behind that opinion. We performed our interim fieldwork in June of 25, and then our year-end fieldwork primarily during the months of July through September, with some follow-up after that. This was to account for the availability of information from the city, along with scheduling availability from LSL once that information was provided. During that time, we examined the city's internal controls. We performed detailed testing of account balances and transactions. We tested compliance with applicable laws, regulations, grant agreements, and contracts. That's part of the government auditing standards. And we carried out other procedures needed to gather sufficient appropriate evidence to support our opinion. So this was a thorough process, and as I mentioned, Brittany was really instrumental in being able to complete these. So then we'll go right into what you're most interested in, which would be the results of the audit. So starting with the headline of that, we issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can give and what you'd want to hear. It means that the financial statements that you've received as final and issued are accurate and reliable and fairly present the city's financial position as of June 30th of 2024. On the report covering internal controls and compliance, we're required to disclose a few items. So we identified a material weakness. You'll see that's finding 2024-001 relating to accuracy in financial reporting as a result of some material corrections identified during the audit. However, we did not note any significant deficiencies. And then we also identified an instance of material weakness and noncompliance. That's finding 2024-002 or 2024-003 in the single audit report. And that's directly related to the late submission of the single audit. With each fiscal year, so we'll use 2024 as an example, the single audit is required to be submitted to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse no later than March 31st of the following year, so March 31st of 2025, to be in compliance. There's a couple other guidelines within there, but that's the absolute drop dead date for the compliance. So this finding is in there for that reason. And then just to put into more perspective behind those findings, this was a clean audit is what we ended up resulting with. We encountered no difficulties working with management. It really was just a matter of availability. We found no uncorrected misstatements. The uncorrected misstatements would be if we identified something that was not corrected by management and was not material. We didn't have any of those. We didn't identify any fraud, waste, or abuse during our procedures. And the findings are correctable process issues. And we've already been in contact with management to work towards those corrections. Any questions so far?
We're gonna, if you don't mind, Christian, we're gonna hold questions till the end.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay, so then going into the single audit, because the city spent federal money in 2024 over the $750,000, that triggered the single audit. Total federal expenditures for the fiscal year were $2,044,227. That's above that 750 threshold I mentioned. It's worth noting that once you get to fiscal year 26, that threshold is actually increased to 1 million, but in 25, that will still remain at the 750,000. The major program that was tested in this past year, in 2024, was the highway planning and construction. On that program, we issued an unmodified clean opinion on both the compliance of that activity and what was reported for that activity. As with the financial statements, I mentioned that we have that material weakness non-compliance associated with the late filing of the single audit report to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. Okay, so beyond the opinions and the findings, here's some key indicators that we find tend to be helpful during this
Hey, Christian,
presentation.
can we just pause for a moment, please?
It seems like you're getting worse. So on the echo, if you're on the phone, do you have it on speakerphone to hear us?
I am not on the phone, nope.
But are your speakers on, like, to listen to us? Can you mute listening to us so that when you're speaking, there's no
I don't
echoing?
think, I really just have the one device. I've used Zoom earlier today with no issues, so let me see if there's something I can do. Heather, do you want to take over for these last couple slides?
Sure.
Okay.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah. Yes.
It's clearer, yes. More volume would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. So for the key financial metrics, so as Christian was saying, there's three critical ratios for the general fund, and all three are shown as healthy.
Heather, if we could just pause for a moment. I'm so sorry. It's so garbled and muffled. I apologize. I'm giggling because it's a little comical, not because you're doing anything wrong.
It's sounding different in the room than what we normally get.
Sure, it is.
It's
Absolutely.
coming from these speakers up here, and I'm not sure how it worked before, but I always remember that device with the microphone on it that changed the way the sound worked. But I don't know what that meant. But it's not doing it now, and the speakers. It sounds very different in the room. I don't think it's just me. It's.
Oh, no, it sounds, yeah, it sounds.
No, it's not just you, Gary. That's why we stopped.
No. I mean, it may not be them. There's something going on with these speakers that's not normal.
Got it.
I'll speak to our
Got it.
sound technician folks here. Is that you wouldn't know, Michaela, but
We agree, it sounds like crap.
But it seemed like it was getting better and then it would get worse. So I was like, okay, I'm hanging
Right.
in there. And now I'm like, I can't.
Mercury is in retrograde, so,
Maybe.
right, in Cancer.
Maybe I'll come and help Kyle get it ready.
Folks, we're going to take a 2 to 5 minute break. If you want to go to the bathroom, come back.
No, it's just coming out, it's just broadcasting differently.
Do you think it usually comes out of that?
Welcome back, everybody. Christian and Heather, thank you so much for hanging in there with us and everybody else here in the house. We're experiencing something on our end we can't quite figure out. We are going to work through it. We ask of you if you could just maybe slow and clarify your speech a little more than maybe you would. That might be helpful on our end. You have these slides we're able to follow along with. We're getting a lot of information, but the delivery is a little strained. So if you can help us on your end, that would be awesome. Let's continue.
Sure, I can try and talk a little slower. So I'll just go. Were you able to understand the previous slides regarding the findings, or are we okay to just move forward from the key financial metrics?
Yeah, I think, Council, were you able to get the gist of the previous slides? Excellent, yes. Thank
Okay,
you.
Great. So regarding the key financial metrics, there's 3 critical ratios for the general fund, and all 3 are healthy. The quick ratio is 3.4, which is well above the benchmark of 1, meaning the city has ample liquid assets to cover short-term obligations. Liabilities to equity is the second one, and that one's showing 0.1, which is comfortably under 1, indicating low leverage. And then for unrestricted equity to expenses, it's 0.4, which is above the 0.2 target. And just to kind of clarify that last one, this represents about 4.47 months of operating coverage and reserve. So that's a strong fiscal cushion that can readily absorb an unexpected revenue shortfall or an emergency expense. So far, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, thank you so much. It's really making a difference.
Okay, great. So now going over on the right side, these are some significant account activities and some notable changes during the year. The net position decreased by about $701,000. Total operating revenues fell by approximately $961,000, which was driven mainly by a decline in grant revenue and other revenues. Capital assets decreased by $112,000, and total liabilities increased by about $1.4 million. The variance for total liabilities was due to an increase in accounts payable of about $1 million, which was primarily due to the highway bridge project activity during fiscal year 24, and an increase in net position liability of about $468,000 for governmental activities. Next slide. So now, regarding the financial audit, regarding upcoming GASB standards, we just wanted to give you a heads up on some new accounting standards that'll come down the road from GASB, which is the board that sets rules for governments. None of these changes are in this year's results, but they will affect how the city will report in the next couple of years. So it's good for council to be aware. So these two for fiscal year, effective for fiscal year 2025 is GASB Statement 101 on compensated absences, which changes how the city reports liabilities for things like accrued leave. And then the second one is GASB Statement 102 on certain risk disclosures. Then for effective for fiscal year 2026, it's GASB Statement 103, which brings improvements to the financial reporting model. And GASB Statement 104 is on the disclosure of certain capital assets. And we will work with your finance team ahead of time, so implementation will be smooth and there are no surprises when these come due. And then again, we just wanted to let you know that we have interim fieldwork scheduled for the end of August to start fiscal year 25. And we've had recent discussions with Carrie and Courtney on plans to work collaboratively between the city and LSL to bring the city as current as quickly as possible. So that's the end of our presentation, and now we can take any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Before we take questions from the table, is there any public comment in the room on this item? All right. Any comments, questions, concerns from the table?
Turn it off and I forgot to turn it back on. It's just like, oh my God.
Get it together, Vice Mayor.
Jeez. No, I read I guess the thing that sort of, we're playing catch up, and that some really important documentation that should have been done 4 or 5 years ago was not done. Is that accurate?
4 or 5 seems long, but
3 or 4?
2
Probably
to
not
4.
okay, even if it was 2 or 3.
I think
So,
it was 2 to 4.
2 to 4. Anyway, I'm glad to see that we're getting this caught up. Those year-end closings are kind of important, so you know how much money you have. And going into the next year, it's like, checking your bank account when you're starting your budget next month, that you know what you have. So I'm glad to see we're catching up. I was pleased to see that. I mean, Brian, you had a late report on one of the grants, but otherwise, I shouldn't attach a name to it. But, otherwise it was fine. I did note that, things you don't think about. And now I sit here and we look at the sewer and wastewater, but there were transfers from sewer and wastewater into the bridge project, which I actually assumed were because of probably the need to move utilities around. I know you did a lot of water work in the intersection, so I didn't know if that's where it came from. And there's nothing wrong with that, provided it's all agreed upon and everything. But I just, in the light of where we are with fees and stuff, it's just interesting to note that historically. So, but otherwise, it's pretty clean. which is what we want. And I hope that the next 2 years are just as clean as we go forward, catching up, so that we'll be up to speed. And thank you for catching all this, Carrie, and identifying these, because this is big not to have this done.
Following Gary's footsteps and not turning on my mic. Primarily the work on this was all done before I got here. It was just getting it over the finish line. But I think the catch up, you have to double step it in order to catch up. So we've been working with Brittany, identifying that she's been carrying additional duties through transition and trying to get those off her plate so that she can focus in on the next two and try and get, we just want to get it caught up so that we don't compromise any grant opportunities. So that's pretty high on our list to get completed and then have an on-time audit, probably not next year, but certainly
Well,
the
I
following
think
year.
particularly with, the single point audit with the feds, that can cut you off really right away if you haven't done that. And
Right.
It's not
And
something.
we're
we
right
can-
there on the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for the work on this, all of you. Nicely, well-written audit. I can actually read it and understand it. Yay. So thank you for that.
Any other comments from the table?
Yeah, I want to thank Brittany for taking on so much, and to LSL for doing this, and just staff in general for getting us here now. I think we're all aware that we need to get ahead of this stuff and not have it wait as long in the future. And as everyone else said, the grant piece of it is so important for a small city to be able to access those funds. So thank you again for all the work.
Any other thoughts, comments from the table?
Thanks, Brittany.
Yeah. Thank you, Brittany, for taking on additional duties.
Do we need to do something?
I'm speaking,
Well,
sir.
I was just wondering. I was just being curious.
I'd like to speak. I was thanking Brittany for taking on additional duties. Thank you to Heather and Christian. Appreciate that. Sorry, it was a little clunky on our end with the presentation. A lot of information did come through. Amber?
Can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, would you mind stop sharing your screen on your end? And also, really happy to see on the first slide the words accurate, reliable, and no fraud. So those things stuck out to me. Really appreciate that. And then I'm looking for a motion to receive a report from the city's independent audit firm and staff, then accept and file the audit and related documents after I take public comment. Did I take public comment? No. I might have. There is no public comment once again. Looking for that motion.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Fleming, second from Vice Mayor Peterson. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Stortland?
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Councilmember Klein?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Peterson?
Yes.
Mayor Fernandez?
Yes. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your work.
LSL, again, thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, everybody. We are skipping past item number.
Doug, can you turn your mic on?
On?
On.
It's on.
It's on? Okay.
Hello.
Great. Everybody's mics on? Excellent. All right, we're going to move on to item number 12. Receive an update on parking improvement projects and provide direction for downtown parking improvements. All right. Hello, Brian McAllister, City Engineer. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. So we're going to present an update on the parking improvements projects and ask for some direction going forward. So in 2023, the city conducted a parking study, and it included two categories of improvements. One category was the lowest cost, easiest to implement improvements, which we did right away. And then category two is things that require additional funding, stakeholder input, and evaluation. And so we're mostly going to be talking about those type of improvements that require some evaluation. And so we also were directed by council to do a pilot project to replace the coin-only meters in the commercial street lot. So we did that with both a meter kiosk and Park Mobile, where you can pay with the mobile app. And there's some statistics in the report that was pretty successful in terms of providing options for people to pay in different ways besides coins. So you can pay by credit card. Coin is the least cost. There's no merchant fees whatsoever. Or you can pay with your phone tap pay. So about currently the percentage is about 1/3 of folks are using the Park Mobile app. So they don't have to go to the kiosk. They can just scan. I'll show you this. I'll show some images of some of the signage. So it's just the Park Mobile app is on your phone. You can so about 1/3 is using that, and it's becoming more popular. So we're seeing more users each month using that option. And then the kiosk is receiving coins as well as other forms of payment. And there's actually 75% of people are using other forms of payment and 25 by coin. So we're reporting on that pilot project, and then we also tried out on-street meters using an on-street meter that takes other forms of payment. And we ran this for 18 months because it was at no cost. We were able to get these meters from the same vendor that we use for the coin meters. And so some observations is they're solar powered, and we've got a lot of overhangs downtown with some of our buildings, and we're having to change batteries quite often. There's visibility challenges with the screen, and it just didn't have the best intuitive user interface. So we actually had customers walk away thinking their payment was complete, and there's another step required. So we've had to waive fines from citations just because of that confusion. And the other disadvantage is just the look of the meter, in downtown. If we were to do this throughout downtown, that's just something to be considered, is the look of the meter itself. So that's the report on the 2 pilot projects. And then just to touch on some of the other things we've done for parking, we've improved mapping on Google Maps. So wayfinding, that was done right away, but we're always making sure it's still working and working with the Chamber of Commerce on the mapping. And then we did signage throughout downtown. We got input from Planning Commission, went with relatively small signs.
Too small.
And, trying not to have too many obnoxious signs, but yeah, maybe they're a little bit too small. And then we did T markings in areas close to downtown, and the purpose of that is just to make sure vehicles are efficiently parked. So some of the areas where there's more opportunity is there are 3 parking lots. So this is the Nevada Street lot, which was finished with the bridge project. It's not metered. And then we have the Spring Street lot, which is also not metered. And we talked about the Commercial Street lot, which is metered. So we're going to run through some recommendations, and this is where we would really like to get some feedback. So based on the challenges experienced, we would recommend not using the smart meters and just return those to the vendor. Stick with the coin meters for the moment. Perhaps expand coin meters, and these are some areas close to the core of downtown that are heavily parked, where we could repurpose the meters that we removed from the commercial street lot. So we wouldn't have to buy new meters, we just have to do the core drilling for the posts. And so this is where we could potentially add coin meters. Another option would be to implement paid parking at the Spring Street lot, which has 37 spaces. And we're recommending that the Nevada Street lot continue to be a no-cost parking alternative. And that makes it more available for employees. And then we should look at promoting and expanding the employee parking program. The program benefits people that regularly park and puts them in the right location. Like we can, with the permit program, we can have people park in the right place where it makes the spaces on Broad Street more available. Another consideration would be to expand the hours of parking, of paid parking. Currently, we're doing 9 to 6, or no, we're doing 8 to 6.
We're doing 9 to 6.
The
We're doing 9 to 6,
yeah, the proposal would be potentially to expand the hours. So what we have now is it's 9 to 6. It could potentially be expanded to 8 to 8 or any variation. So there's other opportunities with shared parking agreements. This is where like privately owned lots could partner with a business that has a lot of employees. We could work towards facilitating those agreements, and then we'd like to work with the county because there's 2 lots that are owned by the county, the Vets Hall lot and the Jury lot, and it's mostly having to do with signage. The signage makes it seem like you're not allowed to park there at any time, when in reality, after business hours, it would be okay to park in those areas. So it's just coordinating with the county on the signage, which is confusing. Another option would be to implement special event parking. So with the kiosk, we can adjust the time and the cost for special events if that were desired. It's available with the programming of the kiosk or Park Mobile. So these are these are the options, and we're open to hear other options, but this is kind of where we're at with what's worked and what's not worked. And
if I can add on, I think the overall recommendation, we included a lot of options, but the overall recommendation is to do the procurement, then ask the question of what is the best and highest use with the most effective technology and the least amount of cost to the city for a lot of these things in here. And then we would bring that plan back to you for adoption. But we wanted to report back on all the work that's been done, and then also move as quickly as we can, because you've already approved the fee increases, but we don't want to do that without having kind of a clear way for people to be able to pay the fees with ease.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Carrie, for that follow-up. Any public comment in the room on this item?
Wow, I'm surprised it's lit.
Hello again,
Not
Lynn.
surprised at all. Hello again, everyone. Lynn Screwgood with the Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to point out that the #1 complaint we receive in the Visitor Center is that our meters only take quarters.
That's right.
And the #1 complaint we receive from our businesses is that they're always running out of quarters because they have patrons coming in who won't shop with them unless they give them quarters to fill those meters. So it affects both our businesses and our visitors who aren't carrying quarters anymore. A lot of other towns don't even take cash, so they don't have quarters in their pockets. I know at the Chamber we give out a lot of quarters all day long to visitors. So we definitely would like to see the city aggressively working towards a better solution for that. Two other things I want to note, while this wasn't part of the plan, the one thing I do want to point out is that our meters actually serve an additional purpose, which is our no parking signage for events. So anyone doing an event, anytime there's a street closure, those posts are really helpful. Obviously, there's ways we could work around that, but I just want to make sure that's on the radar for moving forward. And then the employee parking program, we've often tried to promote this to businesses, and every time the response is that it's too expensive, they'd rather park elsewhere, or they'd rather risk getting a ticket. So we'd love to see that incentivized for our business members and the employees working downtown to make it more accessible for them to utilize those spaces. Thank you.
Thanks,
Great.
Lynn.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Any other public comment on this item? All right, let's bring it back to the table. Who has thoughts, ideas, questions, comments? Councilmember Klein?
Yeah, the pilot program for the on-street smart meters lines up, the results you were talking about lines up with what people have been saying to me, is that those particular ones just are not a fit in that iteration. So, but I feel Lynn's pain, and hopefully there is something that will, that'll look and work better, that will allow different kinds of payment. Regarding the idea of expanding the hours of enforcement, does Tim know about that? Is there?
We would have to work through that if that's what we'd like to do.
Yeah.
Also, there's you don't always have to have an enforcement officer on all the time to see benefits from expanding your hours.
Yeah. Just checking, as if that would mean a new hire to share the load. In the report, it was mentioned that the chamber will be consulted on all what we asked about all this stuff, and Lynn's public comment, I'm sure she has more to say too. I really appreciate that, because that is a group of people who are really being impacted by this. Communication would be important for the downtown employees. If Nevada Street parking lot was to stay unmetered, I think letting people know that's where you go, if you're working in the coffee shops in the mornings and you're going to be there for most of the day, that's where you want to park, so that there's no question, no miscommunication there. About event parking, I had a brief conversation a while back, and I think the chief might have followed up, but I haven't asked him about it. But we have so close to downtown a giant parking opportunity for events, specifically nighttime events, and that's the sale blacktop at the school there.
Bob Gould.
It would be interesting. It would be interesting to be able to activate that for Victorian Christmases and summer nights and so forth. That'd be a lot of space during those very busy events. But Brian, thanks for your report.
Thanks, Adam, for that. Bob Gould has been in touch, I know, a bit with the city about that lot, as he's a neighbor. Anything else, Gary, Vice Mayor?
Okay. So I got a lot, but so we did this study in 2003, and I don't do a lot of disappointment, but 23.
Thank you.
23, but still, it's a long time. It's a long time that, and I know a lot has gone on, but I think in particular on Clark Street, I'd have liked to see more action on Clark Street. And I know we've had other projects, and I know we've had turnovers and everything else, but I think that one of the things we were clear about was growing that capacity. And I know that we approved certainly a contract around the bridge where people could actually access the Spring Street lot so that they could move. And it also, the Clark Street lot provides also an enormous opportunity for permit parking for employees.
That's right.
So, the Bible has been written on parking. It is called the high cost of free parking. And these things are known. These things are known as that the closer in you are, the more you pay for parking. And the farther out you are, the less you pay. And that's how it works. And it gives people choices and it gives people options. But at the same time, we can't do surge parking for events if we have coin-operated parking meters. You can't change it that fast. So, I mean, sorry, Charlie, if you're out there watching, but I think our meters need to go. I personally would prefer block kiosks, similar, you see them, you know, if you've been to any kind of city that does this, is that it's similar to what we've done with Commercial Street, but you do it block by block, and there's only one kiosk. And it takes coins or whatever, and it cards, and it gets out. I'll never forget the day I stood. I had the world's only perfect child in the carriage, the granddaughter, and the mother and grandmother were shopping, and I watched a car pull up on Boulder Street from the people from the Bay Area. They jump out of the car going, WTF, they need quarters. And they're like looking at it, they can't believe, well, where do we get quarters? I said, well, you can get them at the Chamber of Commerce, because part of the deal, right, Lynn? And they're like, where's the Chamber of Commerce? And you try to explain where the Chamber of Commerce is so they go get quarters. We've got to do away with it. The surge pricing, the opportunities to generate revenues around event parking are very easy with the right technology. Also on the procurement, we need to look at the entire thing and procure according to an entire program. I mean, it's what we found, again, and this is what you often find with parking. It's not a shortage of parking, it's parking management. And we found that. And the signs are too small for parking. They're an improvement, but they're, you know, how do you get the parking? And I see, I've checked it on Google, so that's coming up. But we do need to meter the Spring Street lot. There's an enormous amount of parking that goes on in there. We need to expand in those areas that you showed, but we need to do it with newer technologies. You can do the one-off meters with, and you're right, the solar panels and everything else, but I still like a interconnected system with kiosks. So you aggregate all your costs, all your expenditures in one place at one time using the technology. It's also entirely possible through the procurement process, you can get all of this stuff with no cash up front. They do leasebacks. It's how they run these things. It's how they make their money. So there's some real opportunities to fit upgraded technology to our needs. And it also does a lot for the city in terms of making people happier about how easy it is to pay, making Lynn happy because you don't have to give quarters out all the time, drag quarters around, bags of quarters, make Bob happy because he doesn't have to count 85,000 pounds of quarters last year. And that's staff time. Also, with the integrated kiosk systems, Tim or somebody else just gets on their cell phone, samples the meter, and it'll tell you where cars should be parked and which ones are parked, where you can see which are parked in spaces where they haven't paid. It's really easy. You want to do surge parking for an event, you do it off your cell phone. We need to move in that direction. Staff time, it increases revenues, and I think one of the things I think people really need to get used to is we've got to pay for the city, and it's not going to be easy. We've watched flat revenues for years, and expenses have just gone through the ceiling. Parking is one of the ways you can do this, and you can use that money to reinvest in your community in a number of ways. So we really need to get on that. And, you know, the study was good. The study gave us real good direction, but I really would like to see that Clark Street lot moving. Again, with the permit, the way the permit program is monitored is that the permit costs less than what it would cost you to pay quarters in the meter. There's your incentive.
It's $2 a day if it's 5 days a week for a month. You're paying, that's the cost.
Of a permit?
Yes. It's very low.
We have the means to require employees to park in permit parking. That there are mechanisms to do that. I've been through parking many, many times, and I never get over the fact that employers are happy to let employees park their cars in front of the business where they work and rush out and put quarters in. That could be a customer. you know, instead of your employee. Good for you for taking care of your employee, but you're, you know, it's counterintuitive. So that's where I would go with it. I think we really need to modernize this and take advantage of it. We're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Opening up the table to Councilmember Swartland.
Thank you, Mayor Fernandez. Hi, Brian. Thank you for your work tackling our parking problem. It's, I agree with Councilmember Peterson, Vice Mayor Peterson, that in what he said about modernizing the system. Block kiosks sound like a good idea, less impact visually per block. I'm a little sad to see the pilot meters going away on Broad Street, because I always look, are they there? Because I always carry my credit card versus quarters and tend to favor those spots if they're available, but I understand that's what a pilot's for. Are they working well or not working? And it sounds like they're not working great for the community as a whole. So removing them and putting the old meters back in, I guess, could make sense, but I'm with Vice Mayor Peterson in terms of concentrating the efforts forward versus taking steps backward. And the metering the Spring Street lot makes a lot of sense to me. It's right there in town, and we could be making profit there, or getting that money coming into the fund. And I also wanted to say that I always am thinking about the potential of a parking structure somewhere downtown. I know that the 2023 report warned against the financial burden of a parking structure, but I would still like to look at that again and see what kind of options would exist. I know it could cost up to $30,000 per parking spot to build a structure, but then again, are there other types of parking structures that are maybe less financially impactful? I've heard about some of those options. Less internal ramps, maybe using the grade of the hillside to create multi-levels. And the Spring Street lot, I think about in terms of what could be possible there. So those are my comments. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Council Member. Mr.
Danielle.
Fleming, hello.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate the work. This is, it's a messy issue, and one of the things that would happen when we changed the meters was we raised the meter from 25 cents to 50, and people lost their mind. I mean,
It was like in our first few months.
Yeah, it was, and people were like, ah! And it turns out mostly employees parked and they would go out and feed the meter. And so we have to sort of get away from that, but we also have to be, a little bit, considerate of our community. But the point that Gary made that resonated with me the most is this is a revenue generating thing. I remember when I first got on council, we learned that we made $375,000 a year on parking. And I was like, wow, that's not a lot of money. It could be a lot more. And, here we have the opportunity to do that. I think the Spring Street parking lot makes complete sense. As far as the technology, one of the things I wrote here was that, it's a politically sensitive issue, as I mentioned, but technology should not be the goal. The policy goals should be around downtown turnover, visitor convenience, merchant support, employee parking management, accessibility for people who use cash or coins, and reliable enforcement. And so I think that, we can't put the technology first. I think we have to look at this from a holistic way and say, well, what are our goals here? And then how does technology fit into our goals? So that's something too. There's, I've seen meters with visual cues and sound cues that show you when you've paid, so you've paid. I mean, there's really simple stuff. One of the things about telling employees where to park, that can trigger collective bargaining issues, so always want to watch that.
All the unions we have in our town.
I know, with all our unions. You know, there's
There's a new merchant collective.
There is. There is, there's a legibility index that kind of indicates how legible a sign is and what you should do as far as people reading from cars or walking and things like that. I think we need to look at that. I think, you know, one of the things that I noticed in your report was that Grass Valley goes to 6 p.m. I don't see how that prevents us from going to 8. You know, we have a different population here. People are like, oh, I'm not going to park here. You know, I'm going to go to Grass Valley. They're not going to do that. So, but I appreciate the work, and there's a lot more to be done. You know, I'd like to see, you know, some more work at some of these additional parking spots, like Gary mentioned, and just to get the technology right, because we have seniors who have to be able to use this. We have, you know, people with disabilities have to be able to use it. So it has to be accessible and usable for our population. And I think that's what you found with this, that it wasn't. So that's all I have.
Thanks, y'all. Lots of good stuff at the table. I just want to say that I support the process, the next step of procurement, which Carrie asked us about, in terms that will handle all of these details. And I just want to dig into a couple of these to say I agree with Vice Mayor Peterson in prioritizing the Clark Street lot, whether that becomes, you know, employee parking or not. Clearly, you know, regardless of whether the rates are affordable or, you know, there's affordable and then there's like deemed affordable, which are two different things. And there's also like education. So if there were a place for people to go, that might look different than just a program or a cost. But I also hear Councilmember Fleming on the issues around collective bargaining around that, which I don't know would be an issue here. I'm going to surprise myself here and say I'm not a fan of block kiosks. I think it changes the landscape of our historic town in a way that is vastly different than now. I feel like we're talking in a sort of binary of like there's only two things that exist. I go to lots of other places and I pay with my phone, and it's not at a kiosk and it's not with a credit card, but you can use a credit card and you can use coins and you can use tap. And so let's find that so that we have options. Block kiosks are gonna be a new physical structure that I think changes the landscape of our historic town in a way that I don't think is necessary. I do think we need the right technology and modernization. I've been saying for years that we should be a modern historic town. We can be, we have to be, we have to find ways to be. Gary said that the study, the parking study was good. No, it wasn't. It was fine. I think we had critique when it happened that it was done at the wrong time of year. It was done during rainy season when nobody was coming, nobody was visiting. We didn't have accurate information. So I just want to remind folks.
That's not true.
That is true.
It's not true.
That is the time of year that it happened.
We went back into that study to look
We
at
can
that.
we can look at the details. We can look at the details. In terms of a parking structure, I'm not a fan of that. In terms of the future of walkable cities and incentivizing, you know, bike parking, which Richard Thomas mentioned tonight. I'd love to see definitely more of that bike parking and more walkable places and not more concrete structures. Spring Street lot, yes. Expanding hours, not a fan of. Not a fan of going to 8 p.m. It's really late in our town. Most places I go to, it's 6 p.m. and I think that's a nice cutoff. That's my report back. I do support procurement. Does that feel like we have direction?
I feel like I have direction,
Yeah,
yes.
I got a lot of good notes.
A lot of direction.
Good enough.
It helps us
direction.
format the RFP.
Excellent.
And we'll have options in the RFP too,
Yep.
for your consideration.
Brian, thank you so much for your work on this. This is an important issue. I think my colleagues would agree. Councilmember Klein said, you know, this is something that he hears about a lot. We all hear the most, raise your hand if you hear the most about parking. Yes. So let's tackle this. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
And that brings us to reports and future agenda items. Let's start with city manager's report. Hello, Carrie Wright.
Thank you. I just super excited to have participated in the parade. It's been, okay, the Grand Marshal of the parade. Glittered Grand Marshal of the parade. Yeah, in red, white, and blue. I was amazed by how much of the audience on the streets were in red, white, and blue. It was very fun. Haven't been in a parade forever, since my college days. So I want to thank the chamber. Yeah, well, I want to thank the chamber for inviting me to be the Grand Marshal. I would particular thanks to our OES staff and fire chief for they created, I believe it's the first incident action plan for the event itself, and you know, pulling everyone together and creating the document as we get a little bit more, making sure that we're prepared in case of an event, an issue at an event. And so we have summer nights and Constitution Day coming up. So they're continuing with that process and folded into the meetings for planning. So I appreciate the chamber's leadership. And then our fire chief also kind of making sure council was taken care of in terms of being in the parade as well. Just as a quick note, our next meeting will be on Thursday, July 23rd, not Wednesday. So that's different so that we can accommodate our summer nights event. I did want to let you know that we've also hired a retired Inuit for up to 12 hours a week to build out our HR, pull some tasks off Brittany's plate, as well as some other team members, and make sure that we're doing all of the things we need to be doing in HR. She'll do an assessment, policies and procedures, and kind of give us a roadmap, probably a little training with staff. And so I feel like that's a limited time position, but it'll help us in the immediate needs. Champ Gallery was open on July 3rd. Appreciate our commissioner, Kathy Wilcox Barnes, who staffed it with me. She staffed the first half. She's a great ambassador for the Arts Commission and sharing with everyone that visited. Would guess we have around 80 visitors into the gallery with very little promotion. So we'll be looking to do that again for the next art walk, as well as getting kind of organized a little bit earlier next year so we're in the program and on the map. But again, thank the chamber for dropping off the information so people knew from the outside that we were participating in art walk. As I report on my explorations of Nevada City, I had the most wonderful tour of the Nevada Theater right next door with Jane Primrose, and what just a fantastic asset. Just
the mural, huh?
The mural was amazing, all of the things. So it was just so nice to hear about how much support there is for the creative economy and the different groups that use the theater and their mission to keep that accessible. I just found that to be so, like, goosebumps. And then I don't know if I'll steal your thunder, Vice Mayor, but Nevada City was added to the 2026 Fire Risk Reduction Community List. If you want to read more about that, I want to thank UBNEP for getting it out to the community, and Evan and team for the work that they've done to make us be eligible for that list for the first time. So that is my report.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. Brian, I'm so sorry. I have like an asterisk. I forgot to ask you. I hear all the time about the courthouse parking. Is that, when you say the jury lot, is that the lot across the street, across?
Right. Yeah, it's owned by the county.
Okay, so, and then the parking structure, or what's the deal with that? Are we not allowed access to that during the weekend? Is that not an option?
You know, that's more for secure parking for court use. Yeah, it's not available.
Inmate transfer.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for that. All right, council member report backs.
May I?
Yes, you may.
I had a lot of fun riding on the fire truck, part of the 4th of July parade. I'm very excited to be getting my first meeting under my belt so that now I get a feel for how this works and feels, so I can just hit the ground running. I'm very passionate about zero waste, and I'm thinking about some ideas of how to bring in a zero waste day in Nevada City. So you'll be hearing more from me about that. Working with our local environmentalists and nonprofits, and everyone feels pretty excited. So I want to run with that energy. So thank you all for having me, and just looking forward to more.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for saying yes.
I got nothing, I was gone.
Because it's July, a lot of the regular meetings that I go to in my capacity as a council member are put off till next month. Do we have a chamber board meeting this month? We do. That one's happening. The ERC meeting that usually happens the first Thursday of every month did not happen this month, but there is a planning meeting for the economic summit that the ERC puts on this year. That will be on October 29th. I'm part of that, so I will be going to that meeting. If you're at all interested in economic development in the Western County, I urge you to attend. That's going on. I want to quickly thank all the people who, over the past year, stopped me at SPD and thanked me for the year of advanced music appreciation, and more recently for Joanna Newsom Day. I had a lot of people I did not know tell me that it made them feel good about the place they live, and that was a sweet thing to hear from strangers at SPD.
That's amazing.
And I was encouraged by, the parade was extremely fun. Grand Marshal, excellent job. I thought it was marshaled grandly. I was encouraged to know that our city is still incredible at coming up with wild things to spread through the rumor mill. I was told right before I got on the fire truck that the governor's wife was going to be there for the parade, and
We keep hearing about her.
I knew that was not true. My friend Joanna Newsom joined us on the fire truck, and I guess the fact that her last name is that made someone go, that must be the governor's wife. But, keep it up, Nevada City. Thank you for a wonderful 4 years. Thank you for a wonderful year. Thank you for trusting me to do it again for another 4.
Yeah, a couple things. So the Sustainability Project, which is a project of the county for their climate action, had another public meeting last week before last at the Love Shack, the Love Building I ran a lot of public meetings there at one time in my life, and I used to refer to it as the Love Shack, but the Love Building in Condon Park. What was really interesting is that, they're trying to feature members. The Sustainability Project has a lot of different organizations, RCDC, NID, all these people doing things, and so they're trying to highlight. So we stepped up from Nevada City and gave a presentation. And I was on a panel with other fire folks, and then Evan gave a presentation on the program that we're doing in Nevada City. And the feedback I got from everybody is, wow, you're really good, Gary. But that Evan, he's really skilled at delivering the message, and he really came across. And it was, and I heard it again tonight. Yeah, Gary, it was great to see you there. You did a good job. But that Evan, he's 3 years as a 7th grade school teacher will teach you to communicate. And he did so very successfully. And also through the work of our Office of Emergency Services, we made the state's list for communities that are advanced in their fire planning. It's not an easy thing to do. You have to meet an enormous amount of criteria. Only 45 cities out of 450 cities achieved the notification. And what this does for us, just 2 things. It makes us eligible for more state money. It prioritizes our grants in the process so that we can acquire funding to continue to do the good work that we're doing. But it is the FAIR Plan and some other insurance groups are required to take that into consideration when writing policies. They don't have to do anything about it, but they do have to acknowledge it. And really what it amounts to is the greatest single thing that we as a city could do to impact insurance rates in our city. It may not have a really noticeable impact, but it is the highest level that we can achieve to require people to take notice of what we're doing. And that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. The county got it also. And because we're partnered with them and all the work that we've done together. So that was really great. And I feel compelled to acknowledge that my presence here wouldn't be possible without a woman named, she goes by Ailsie Mae Grotti now, which was my mother, and I attended her 100th birthday this weekend in Arizona. So I'd like to acknowledge, thanks, Mom. It was a trip. That completes my report.
Thanks so much, Vice Mayor. Happy birthday to your mother. I got to hear a little bit about that trip. It sounded like a trip. Just want to remind my colleagues, there will be a reorganization of committees. Please, I'm going to ask you to reach out to me in the next week with preferences and a time to meet or at least connect via phone to talk about your preferences. Please don't make assumptions and attend meetings in the next 2 weeks because it will start to look at least a little bit different. And I've often thought that this time for council member report backs is one of the most underestimated or under sort of valued moments of the meeting. Yes, as council members, we go out and represent Nevada City in these spaces on these committees. And just importantly, it's necessary for us to come and report back everything that's happening in those meetings so that we understand the culture, things that might come up in the community, in organizations. So in an effort to do that a little better, Carrie and I are talking about a little bit of a reorganization and putting this as an agenda item at the top of the meeting once a month, and really highlighting this work we do because it's important work. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's all I got. I'm looking for a motion and a second to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
You're not there, Danielle, anymore.
Great, I know.